What is happening everyone, Gareth the Master 974 back again today doing another hammer tutorial. This time around we've got a recommendation from Michael who wants to know how to do a Breencast that the citizens in City 17 can tear down in the uprising. Now first things first, I don't know how to actually make the Breencast monitor, as you can see here, especially the one that's in the uprising map. It's in D3C1703. And if you go right up close, you can see it's actually made up of a load of smaller Funk Monitor entities. And then you have to deal with getting them all textured properly as well. And that seems like it's more hassle than it's worth. And then couple the fact that it looks like it's made with the Arch tool, so it's, you know, curved brushes and vertex manipulated as well, so it's angled. It just seems like it's too much hassle for me to go through that and tell you how to do it precisely. And Hammer++ doesn't have a sort of camera preview for the, you know, monitor. So there's no way to know for sure how it's going to look until you compile the map, and then it could be wrong. So for all intensive purposes, what I'll suggest to do is to actually load up a map such as D3C1703 from Half-Life 2. This is the Xbox 360 VMF pack from, you know, the Project Beta website, but you can also use vmix just to decompile the map. So I'll leave links in the description so you can check that out if you want to. But if you're going to go down this route, you might as well just either look into it or just copy everything. So what I decided to do was copy the monitor here, and if you go way outside of the map and beyond the Citadel skybox, you can actually see this is the room you need to copy as well, which is where Breen is delivering his speech. So as long as you copy the room and the monitor, and maybe some of the other stuff as well that I'll outline, then we should be able to get going. So minus everything else, you know, just starts with a dynamic prop called Plaza Falling Monitor. That's the model name. And you can give it a name. It's just called Breen Monitor Frame Post. It's set to start disabled, but I'm sure I set it to enable pretty much immediately, so it should already be present when the map loads, unless there's actually a second prop, which there is. See, that's the issue. There's two fucking props here, so instead of just having one, they have two, and it's all because the monitor, you know, the actual model. If I go into it, it's either got, you know, idle, which is where it is, or full, and there's no sort of, you know, full end state, if you will. So you can't do like set default animation and then set it in its end position. So yeah, they've gone ahead and done a really complex job, and that's why I say just copy and paste it from the map, because there's, you know, a model for where it is, you know, when it's hanging up, then one that plays the animation like it's doing right now, and then one in the end spot. So if you get rid of all of that stuff, then there's three env spark entities, all called Monitor Spark 1, placed slightly at the front of the monitor, and it's just got huge and large. So yeah, there's two medium, no sorry, two, yeah, it's all different settings basically, but glow and directional seems to be the flags. So yeah, again, arbitrary choice of placement and settings, and you're up in the top corners, and well, one top corner and one bottom corner, you've got an env explosion, and it just seems to be a bare basic explosion entity there, and one is in here. So yeah, just default env explosion entities, you know, so that's where those are. And you also have these ropes as well. There's three of them because there's three citizens. So I just load up one of these because they're pretty much all the same. Just give it a name, give it the next keyframe, slack of 50, 4 subdivision, 1 width, collide with world, yes, material, cable / rope, and there's nothing else you need to worry about there. And so we can go down to maybe where this monitor is, the endpoint, and there's a couple of AR2 explosions. There's 3 of them, as a matter of fact. All called Monitor Explosion 3, and that's pretty much all there is to it, just default settings. Particle noise sphere, and if the monitor gets out of the way, particle noise sphere. Again, arbitrary locations just around where the monitor is going to end up. So if you can get the model right, like what I'm doing, then you can probably just line up where the monitor ends. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. And so yeah, get down to the citizens. Now if you want to have this logic choreographed scene called LCS cheers with a scene file of this scenes street war plaza cheer.vcd, then you actually have to name the citizens plaza underscore takeover underscore sit underscore and then 1, 2 and 3. And in this case, the only flags are wait till scene and wait for script. And there's pretty much nothing else other than the models. So we've got male 7, we've got female number 2, I believe this is, with the devil eyes going on there, and the default male 1. So I'm just going to focus on this citizen over here for now. And there's a scripted sequence immediately here. You can call it whatever you want to. Make it target that NPC in particular, and its pre-action idle animation is pull rope to idle. I believe for the female it's pull rope 1 idle, and you can set, well, okay, yeah, so it's only the female is pull rope 1 idle because that's the only animation the female has, but the males have pull rope 2 idle, and the action animation is drop rope 1, and move to position is instantaneous. Under flags, we want start on spawn, no interruptions, override AI, and it's a priority script. So this starts immediately as the map spawns, and it's going to be causing this NPC to hold the rope, which we'll get into later, getting them to actually hold the rope properly. And it's looked like he's going to try and tug the monitor down. And importantly, on outputs, once the sequence is finished, we want the rope, which is actually in the citizen's hand. Again, you don't need to worry about the properties per se, but you do want to parent it to the citizen. So that's what I've done here. Just call it whatever you want, but parent it to the NPC, and then break that once the sequence is finished, and then begin the next sequence, which is over here. And this is, again, targeting the citizen. It's called cheer 1 in action animation. You want to run to this position, and then the next script is the one behind it, which is draw gun. And flags, I think there should be some flags there, but I've not set them, I don't think. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be no interruptions, override AI, and priority scripts. So let's just go ahead and set those, because I didn't set them somehow. And then the last one, again, draw gun. Apparently it only targets citizen 1, but we're going to go into the outputs, so it doesn't really matter. It does the action animation of SMG draw, so the citizen pulls out a weapon SMG. Move to position, no interruptions, override AI and priority script in the flags. And then on begin sequence, we want to, make the NPC not script anymore, so it can be controllable and movable. But then on script event 01, we want to make citizen 3, because that's the name of this citizen, it's citizen 3. We want to give them the weapon of weapon SMG1 with the animation of SMG draw. It makes it look like they're pulling an SMG1 out of somewhere. And so yeah, you can sort of duplicate, copy paste special the citizens and move them around and change the rope positions. But that's pretty much all that's going on there. And there's a couple of logic autos that deals with the citizens. And so basically on map spawn, you can set their readiness to low. So set readiness low, and then also lock readiness to -1 after 0.1 seconds for each citizen. And also we want to set the civilian to start scripting, and then also for the rope to set parent attachment of anim attachment left hand. That way the rope gets put in the hands of the citizens. And so all that's really needed now, once all of the key components are in place, assuming you've done what I've suggested, there's a logic relay here that goes over everything. So we want explosion 1A, which is going to be one of the explosions up here, presumably either in the bottom left or the top right. That's number 1. Number 1A is in the top corner, and that's going to explode. We want the monitor, the model of the monitor, which is not going to go through the animation, to disable. break a couple of the ropes, enable the one that's going to go through the animation, and then set the animation, set the sparks flying, begin sequence of Citizen 3 taking down the monitor, kill the monitors, you know, the actual brush monitors, then disable the Breencast microphone, so that's no longer going to come through. Then begin a scripted sequence, I guess, called LCS Collaborator, which is somewhere, yeah, whatever. And then, yeah, it just goes on from there. Monitor for conditions, kill, that's, you know, an AI thing. I don't think that's really necessary. Then a monitor explosion, explode after 0.2. One of the other ropes, break that after 0.2. Then take over Citizen 1, begin sequence after 0.3. Citizen 2, begin sequence after 1. Then start the cheers after 1, which is that one I just pointed at. Then monitor explosion 2 and 3, which are going to be the one on the lower left, or these ones down here actually. I think all of these are going to explode after 4 and 3.5, and then the post, you know, the one that goes through the animation is going to get killed, and then the one that's in its place is going to turn on. So yeah, it's all complex, more complex than it needs to be. And so all you need to do now, once you have these conditions in place, is to just trigger monitor for relay, which is this logic relay here. And then, yeah, you can just see the monitor get torn down by the citizens. In this case, you know, you don't want to have the player spawn right here where you can see it happen. But yeah, you can just get away with doing that. So I'll probably show footage at this point to show you what it does, what it looks like, and how it all works perfectly fine. And again, that's just pretty much because this was taken from D3 C1703 because I'm lazy. But you know what I'm not lazy about is coming up with an alternative to this tutorial. Now, I've got over here in Viz groups called a Fizz Convert. So if I enable that, it's actually a duplicate of the monitor with pretty much the exact same settings, same placement. I've just put it on the other side of the pillar, which was taken straight out of C1703, D3 C1703 I should say. And what I've done different is that I've got an entity called a Fizz Convert at the top. So I've called it monitor convert. I'm going to cause it to convert the monitor and give it a mass of 3000. That way it's not going to be easily puntable or grabbable by the gravity gun or the fizz gun respectively. And there's nothing else you need to worry about for the settings. And I've also got a filter damage type. So the way that I've got it working is that in this prop dynamic, I've got it so if it takes damage, it causes another trigger to activate, and that converts the prop dynamic into a physics prop. So the monitor's going to fall because of gravity. So that's, I've got a damage filter, so it's only going to get hurt by any blast objects, so RPG, rounds, grenades, SMG1 grenades, OICW grenades, anything that does blast damage is going to trigger the on take damage output here. And I believe there's also something you can do where you can set like a filter for the amount of damage that you can take before any sort of outputs or anything happens, but I don't think I've modified that in this case. But yeah, let's go to that relay that's down here. And all I say is pretty much the same stuff, just explosion, explode, spark, spark, kill the funk brush, what the funk monitor brush is, disable the microphone, but then all we do is convert the model, so use the Fizz Convert to convert the model into a physics prop, and then cause another explosion to occur. So in this case, I could show you footage of this monitor in action. And yeah, it's minus the sound of the monitor hitting the ground and the AR2 explosions creating a smoke effect, which shouldn't be too difficult to implement. But it's pretty much the same sort of thing, except you can be the one to take the monitor down. And so yeah, one RPG round to the monitor just causes it to crash to the ground, and then you can probably try to blast it with the gravity gun but not get anywhere, or grab it with the fizz gun and also not really take it anywhere, or kill yourself on it maybe if you want to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I know I've not really done a good job, and I've rambled and raved and not really done a good job, especially with the Breencast and Breen monitor stuff in itself, because I think that's a little too complex for me to get into. But I've gone over pretty much everything that you absolutely need, and all the flags and all the settings and the outputs and stuff. So I hope you found the tutorial helpful, and if you're having any issues, then you know, get the Xbox 360 Half-Life 2 VMF files from Half-Life Project Beta's website, or use vmex on D3C1703 to see what's actually going on. And if you want to, you can also probably go to the Source SDK and get D1 Train Station 02 and just get the Breen monitor, you know, in the Breen box room from that map, and just use that instead. But that's pretty much everything that you need to know. I know I've glossed over that AI script conditions. Again, I don't think that's really necessary, to be honest, but it's there anyway. And that's in D3C1703, so you can look into that if you want to. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'm sorry if this here is not very clear or very helpful, but you know, this is the issue with some of these tutorials sometimes. Just let me know what you think. I know there's another lengthy tutorial coming up, so I hope you'll see me for that. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Take care.